Show is, this is the deals we need to get done. If you have an RFP, send it to me. We're getting near the end of the year. Let me help you get the best rates, best concessions. My services are fast, free, and honest. Send me your RFP. Let's get it done.
It's like my Rockstar video. Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Mark DALLMAN here, Meeting Planner's Best Friend. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for my 14th Facebook Live event. So it's great to have you here. Appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to watch this video. I've been doing this for a long time and really have been trying to help out as many hotel and meeting planners as possible as we get through this, let's just call it messy situation that we're all in. So, but we're all here to help. We all want to take care of each other, and got a great guest today. I'm really excited to talk to actually one of my hotel sales friends that was furloughed and is actually just coming out of furlough. So her property was closed, property is now back open. She is now off of furlough, and it'll be great to kind of get a perspective. I think from whether you're a hotel salesperson or you're a planner, knowing what hotels are doing now after they open, what furloughed salespeople coming back, what they're going through, and what kind of restrictions and training and everything that they're doing. So yeah, it's going to be a great time today. So, but obviously, first off, I want to thank all of our first responders. As we see these COVID cases going up again, which is just horrible. There's a lot of people that are just working tirelessly in the hospitals and on the front lines for all of us. So I really, really, truly appreciate all those people that are on the front lines helping us out. So, and as a lot of people said, just wear your damn mask, okay? I'm not wearing a mask because I'm obviously just here by myself, and it'd be kind of weird for me to be doing that for my Facebook Live event, but just wear your damn mask, take care of each other, be nice to each other. I know everybody's on a hair trigger right now also, so, but just want to thank all those people that have been there for us. So thank you so much. It's really great. And obviously, like I said, my title today is just coming back from furlough. And if you have any questions or comments, the other great thing is we're going to do a live Q&A for those of you who are live here today. And if you have questions for me, questions for my guest, Alexa, feel free to put them in the comment section here of the Facebook Live event, and we'll get those on the program immediately. So without ado, well, thank you, Megan. Yeah, it's, there's a lot of stuff going on. So trying to keep everything relevant for everybody. So, but yes, state of the industry. Well, first off, happy post 4th of July weekend, everybody. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. It's always nice to get away. As you can tell, I'm not in Elk River, Minnesota anymore. I was there for a couple of weeks with my family that lives there. And it was great seeing family and friends. We had my son Austin's high school graduation party there for our Minnesota family, which was great. So had a great time on our end, but hope that everybody had a safe 4th of July. But coming out of it, I tell you, it's just messy. I don't want to say scary. It's not scary. It's just there's confusion. There's leadership that is lacking in multiple areas. You're getting 6 different answers to the same question from different leaders, whether it's a governor, a mayor, a president, a vice president, Dr. Fauci, whoever it may be. Everybody's giving us different answers right now. So it's really, really hard to plan for the future. But, the best thing we can do is stay together, answer each other's questions, help out each other. And I think the one thing that I'm seeing too is that 3rd and 4th quarter meetings are really in question right now. We have some hotel companies that are even saying that it's force majeure during up to a certain time frame, whether it's through August or through September, whatever it may be. They're already accepting force majeure in some new instances. So I think we're kind of back on that train, just like we were back in March, which is kind of sad to see. You have all these state quarantine warnings. You're talking about perfect examples, New York City, So New York City was the epicenter with the highest amount of cases. And now because they stayed closed longer than Texas and Florida and Arizona, where I'm at, they were able to swell everything down to a minimal number instead of just opening up a little quicker like some other states did. So Yeah, it's seen a lot of that, just a lot of warnings, a lot of quarantines, a lot of confusion, but obviously trying to make the best of the planning situation. And I think I think it was out of 5,200 hotels that had been closed, there's only 1,400 that are still closed this week. So there's still obviously a lot of big properties that are shut down. And we talked about this last time I was on, was the amount of hotels that are still closed or that are delaying their opening based on business levels. So, where you're seeing Vegas open, not all the properties in Vegas are open. And you're seeing a lot of the larger properties too that are kind of delaying, whether it's the Diplomat or other properties. You're seeing a lot of larger properties that are delaying opening just based on business levels. So yeah, the state of the industry is confusing. It's messy. And the nice thing is that, like I said, I'm a meeting planner's best friend, so I'm here to help. And if you have a hotel contract, if you have a meeting, if you have something coming up in the fourth quarter, or even next year that you want to take a look at, or at least take a look at your options, email the contract over to me at mdallman@hpnglobal.com. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it for you, give you some fast, free, and honest advice on what to do. So I'm here to help in any way that I can. So yeah, so that's kind of the state of the industry. It's, we're starting to open up some hotels, which is good, but there's still a lot closed. We've got a lot of restrictions, mask requirements, things like that. But I'm really excited to bring in our guest today to kind of talk about some of these things. So without further ado, I want to bring in Alexa Shalit, who is the Senior Sales Executive at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge. So Alexa, welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's great to have you. I really appreciate it. And, obviously, I think the thing that I've talked about on this call a lot of times is that everything's so emotional right now, right? And you can't treat business as a dates, rates, and space type of situation anymore. And you really need to find out how people are doing. It's like you need to take a wellness check with everybody because everybody's just on a razor thin edge right now. So with you, before we get into everything, how are you doing personally? How are you getting through all this?
I am so happy to be back. It is,
Yeah.
we were joking. It's almost when you're put on furlough and there's so much uncertainty, it's almost like you go through a few stages of grief, right? Denial and what's going on. I'll come back tomorrow. Okay, maybe I'm not coming back tomorrow. And then activities center around how you're feeling. And, I never reached an acceptance point because I just love this industry so much. And I'm just so happy to be back.
Right. Perfect. Well, I tell you what, you've always been a great friend and a fantastic salesperson. And I've always told people that the great salespeople that I worked with were salespeople that could sell me on the piece of business that they wanted to book. And I know that that's something that you're really good at. But for those of you who don't know who you are and your hospitality career, give us your bio. Give us a little quick bio.
Sure. Well, my bio, let's see.
I've been I'm hating that, by the way. Just want to,
I gotcha.
What's your hospitality career?
I've been in the industry about 15 years. I started in food and beverage in Tucson, Arizona.
Nice.
Was working in various departments for a few years. Always loved the operations side of how things worked and being on the front line with guests and just, pretty simple, making guests happy and smile. And then opportunity presented itself in Chicago. So I moved from, quirky Tucson to big city Chicago and started as an executive meeting specialist, which is, like a red coat liaison between clients and the property. And then from there, I just really fell in love with events and meetings and what you can do, through planning and just putting on incredible events and being face to face with customers and just making it happen. So I was on the event side of things, moved into a meeting and event manager role, where I was working hand in hand with meeting planners and clients and, so on and so forth. And then I really found my true passion, which is group sales. I just, there's something about it. And I was in Chicago for about 5 years, and then I transitioned into the resort selling component in Scottsdale, Arizona. So
Okay.
I was at Westin Kierland for
Yep.
a while. Love, property near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
We booked some
Right.
business there.
Right.
And then JW Marriott Desert Ridge Resort and Spa, which is just an exceptional property, and it's so fun to work here, and it's a large convention resort.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
And it is the biggest hotel in the
mhm.
Phoenix area with an enormous amount of meeting space. I'm a huge fan of your property. And just to give you a quick little plug, give us a little thing about your property. What do you love about that property in Desert Ridge that you're at right now?
What I love about it is the little surprises that you find while being on site. I could
Okay.
talk to you about 950 guest rooms that we have, 250,000 square feet of meeting space, but it's really the small touches as far as our food and beverage experience. I mean, right now, outside the window, I'm looking at an herb garden that we have. It's just, there's really unique, thoughtful touches throughout the resort that I think makes it special.
Okay, cool. Good. Well, obviously your property's been closed, right? You had big, huge barricades
I know.
outside your front drive, which I thought those big, huge cement barricades.
Yep.
Yeah. And obviously, when did your property reopen? When was that date?
A week ago today, last Friday, right before
Really? Wow, a week ago. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. So now that the property's open, I think a lot of people want to know, what's it like? You're going into basically turning the lights back on, getting all the employees back, everybody kind of realizing what they need to do. But what is it like being back at, like, you're basically opening up a new hotel again and trying to, basically create some more excitement into that property? So what has that been like for you for the last week or so now that it's been open?
Well, now that we've been open, I mean, we are excited over the littlest things. The fountains turned on, the lights are on, Starbucks is open, the
Right.
pool's open. It's nice to see the activity in the lobby. And it's in the office itself. I mean, I can't speak to what it was like prior to opening. From what I understand, lights weren't on. It was quiet.
Right.
And I would say the office environment itself is it's quieter, but the excitement is there,
Yeah.
and we have something to talk about, and
Right.
it's been really fun
All right.
and
Well, I tell you
different.
what, and obviously, we're kind of talking about coming back from furlough and things like that, and what you've been doing and things like that. So kind of tell us how this whole story started for you. So you're sitting there as a salesperson, the market goes to crap basically, and occupancies go down, groups are canceling, you got force majeure coming at you from every different angle. And then, you get that note from leadership about going into furlough. So tell us how that happened and what was going on there.
It was a huge shock. I mean, it
Yeah.
was we had what? It was waste management open, then we had customer events leading right at the baseball
Right.
stadium.
Right.
Stadium's packed. We're just entertaining customers, having a good time, and then the calls start coming in, and we're seeing these things on the news and not quite sure how it's transpiring, what it really looks like, and just trying to process. And leading up to my furlough, I was moving. I mean, talking through it with groups, talking about cancellation, moving them to future years. Working through all of that shifted probably, I mean, a handful of groups all at the same time, because the ones that were due to walk in the door the following day.
Right.
Then it was, I think around the 24th, it all happened so fast, right? We're just trying to get these deals done, make it happen, have them not cancel, but find a different time frame that they were comfortable with. And then all of a sudden, leadership says this, here's your furlough letter. And I said, what's furlough? What does that mean?
Right.
And like I said, there was a lot of denial there. And then thinking, okay, this is temporary. They'll call me back soon. And time just kept creeping by, and
it's gotta be
quickly,
scary.
slowly. It was wild.
Right.
Mentally, I would say my mindset was just, what's going on here.
Yeah.
But there were ups and downs, and then it was extended. The furlough was extended. We were supposed to come back end of May. That was pushed to October per se. And then I am really fortunate and lucky that my leadership was able to get me back as early as they did.
Yeah, that's great. So again, for those people who don't know furlough, what do you get while you're on furlough? What does that do for you with your benefits and pay and things like that?
Sure. I can only speak for my own
that's
personal
fine.
situation.
Right.
But what you're not working, but the company still is supporting a day a week of pay, which can cover your benefits, so I still had benefits throughout, and I was able to supplement other days with the PTO that I haven't used in 15 years that I've just been letting hang out.
Yeah.
Finally had a real opportunity to use it. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. So they basically paid you for 1 day a week. You used your PTO, and then you still had benefits based on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're going through this furlough time, and it keeps getting extended, like you said, which has got to be just heart-wrenching, because once it gets extended, then you must also be waiting for the letter that, hey, I'm not coming back, and hey, I need to look for something else. What kind of went through your mind, and what things did you do while you were on furlough to kind of help out with that, and to try and maybe look at even a second career path if you needed to, right? Because you don't know what's going on.
Sure. You always have to have, plan A, plan B, and just go with what works best for every, individual. For me, the first part of furlough, I definitely had a pity party at first, where I was, more in that denial stage, sitting on the couch, watching Netflix. Binging Netflix shows like nobody's business. I'd watch a show and an entire season a day, feeling that, sweatpants, horrible, dark days. Then transition into bettering myself. Okay, I need to get up off the couch. I'm feeling motivated. You know what? The sun's out. It's Arizona. I'll go swimming. Thanks to Kristen Vine, she got me into a online yoga virtual Zoom class. So I started a routine there. Only crashed into the TV once while trying to put something a headstand, but so forming my own routine that way. I had a lot of fun creating craft cocktails and reading. And I was okay, towards the end of May when I thought the date was coming up. And then when I got the call that, sorry, too soon, I went through it all again. You start over. But it's all about mindset. And as long as I could keep myself in a routine, I found myself to be in a semi-productive headspace. And I thought about other careers, and it's just, my career has always been in hospitality. And I know there's other industries. It's in my blood. My family came from hospitality. It would be really hard for me to part ways. And that was always first in my mind. So I hadn't quite come up with a real plan B. And luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had to and won't need to.
So what was the hardest part about furlough? So besides, you're obviously Netflix binging and sitting on the couch and maybe, unmotivated, not knowing what to do or what's coming next. What was the hardest part when you look back at that time now? when you didn't know if you're going to come back? What's the thing that stuck out to you that was just, man, this just really sucked?
Well, aside from getting stung by a wasp once because they hijacked my pool and I was very nervous to go out swimming anymore. That, you know, that they were minor. The uncertainty was definitely the hardest part, because it's hard to wrap your head around how to plan for the future during uncertainty and how to have quality of life when you're stuck inside. But then, you know, you adapt. I've never been one to dwell on something for too long, and I just adapted, kept reading, ordering new books. Thank goodness for Amazon.
All right. Yeah, we've learned that Amazon is they're recession proof. So yeah, they're fine.
This is true.
Perfect. Okay, so we turn the page, and now you're back at the hotel.
I'm back.
The hotel's open, and it's glorious. And like you said, the fountains are coming on, the pool's working. You're starting to see guests walk around the property in masks or without masks, whatever it may be. Obviously, it's mandatory masks now. Do you have mandatory mask requirements inside the property right now?
We do. We sure do. It's when we are in the public space, you know, the lobby, the meeting space, yes, masks. We are asking all of our guests and associates to wear masks.
Right.
And everyone, and we're giving them out at the front desk as well if someone needs a new one or doesn't have one. And it's just, whether you believe in not wearing one or wearing one, it's a little beside the point here on property for us. It's more so we want every guest to feel comfortable.
Right.
It's, you know, it's why you have to wear pants in the lobby. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
masks
and pants required.
Yes.
Yes, very important.
That's right.
Perfect. Well, obviously, so you get back into the sales process and you start talking to your leadership and things like that. So what is the message that you're getting from leadership saying, okay, here's how we're moving forward. Here's how we're selling the property. Here are some new guidelines. How has that process changed, or what are they kind of feeding you right now to help you sell in this type of environment?
That's a tough one because it is changing so rapidly. And when we look at a strategy, I would say our strategy has changed for 2020. I mean, the key is to be flexible.
Right.
We want our groups to come here, operate if they're comfortable. We are social distancing in our meeting space. At the same time, when you look at it, we have so much meeting space that we're able to accommodate and we're working with groups. If they shrink, we're just encouraging them to come here. I mean, operate their program. If they're 30% smaller, if they need more space, let's talk about it before just, you know.
Right. So, and I think that's the thing that you've seen too with a lot of groups, is that even though attendance is down, which is sad, it does allow them to do social distancing in their existing space because their numbers are down anyway.
Right.
So, you know, the 1,000 people they're going to have in the ballroom, you know, now they can only probably put 600-700 in there based on social distancing. Well, that's probably the number that they're going to get anyway in that type of situation based on current conditions. So
you nailed it. That's exactly what we're seeing with the numbers. I mean, that's how we're seeing them shrink right now, and we're working with it.
Are you seeing probably 20-30%, any percentage that you're hearing from planners or from your revenue team or anything as far as groups through the end of the year right now?
I think it's a little too soon to tell and put a number to it. I would say 20-30%. 30% feels like the right number, but I don't have much to back that up right now.
No, that's fine.
We have to wait and see.
Right. So when is your first large group? When's the first big one coming into the property right now?
We have one of our largest groups starting in September.
Okay.
As early as September 2020, and so we're what, Yeah, we're getting close.
Okay.
And it's the Arizona Lodging Association, who,
Okay.
they're industry leaders
Right.
in our industry with different
Absolutely.
ownership groups and hotel
Right.
chains, and they know that, the numbers might not be the same, but they still want to continue being a leader association in this industry, and so they're planning
Right.
on operating.
Okay. And is that your group, or do you know what kind of changes they've made or things that they've adjusted based on current conditions?
It's not my group, so I can't
Yeah.
speak for the details of it.
Mhm.
What I do know is, I mean, social distancing is something we're prepared to do for our events, with
Okay.
the table spacing 6 feet apart,
Mhm.
one chair per 6 feet, or two chairs per 8 foot
Right.
table, so on and so forth.
Right.
So I think the spacing will be different, but beyond those details, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you have any revised guidelines that you guys are working on, or your meeting services team is working on, as far as social distancing capacity charts for your meeting space? Or is that
We
kind of case by case?
It's sort of case by case right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you what it is in at the moment, but
Hmm.
it's just when we're talking about groups arriving in a couple months, 3 months, the fall time frame,
Hmm.
we just don't know if that'll change, if it's still
Right.
in effect. Uh,
Right. And I think that's what I'm seeing too, is that a lot of meeting planners are asking for new meeting specs based on social distancing guidelines, but hotels really aren't putting together their own social distancing capacity charts, basically. They're just saying, hey, give us a call, we'll lay something out for you. So it's
mhm,
not like you're changing all your marketing based on that. And obviously, as we know, everything's changing on a weekly basis or monthly basis. So, it's tough to kind of go through that. But I'm seeing more of a case by case basis, instead of, like you were
mhm.
saying, hotels aren't going to have the social distancing capacity charts that some planners are looking for. You either have to kind of work it out yourself, or just have the hotel kind of lay it out for you. So
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. How about food and beverage wise? And again, I know you haven't been back an extended period of time, but
Sure.
what kind of food and beverage changes, or changes regarding breaks or services within the hotel? What are some things you're seeing so far, or things that your food and beverage department is coming up with?
I can't speak to the banquet side quite
Hmm.
yet. I
Hmm.
haven't seen a group operate since I've been back, but what I
Right.
do know is, and what I've seen at other properties from photos, they've had buffet tables with actual, like, plexiglass that you've seen,
Okay.
at the grocery store, just to that, so it's clear, but
Right.
and you can see the person in front of you and see the food options, and then you would have a server behind it serving. I've seen that from photos of other resorts.
Hmm.
Here, as far as our restaurant outlets that have been open, we've spaced out all the tables.
Hmm.
Occupancy is less. We have taken out tables to make room and change the spacing. Uh, and a lot of items it's been more so to go.
Hmm.
From what I've seen, a lot of disposable utensils.
Right.
Uh, we have a 32-page new sanitation packet that's floating
Okay.
around, and a piece
Yeah.
of training for our team,
Right.
for the operations team. So there's
Right.
changes going on. I just I've I've been more so in my office, calling my favorite customers like you,
Right.
just trying to
Right.
see how you are.
Right.
That's where
Right.
I've been hunkering down doing that. But
Right. So talking about those guidelines, I know you said that operations has some new guidelines, whether it's for food and beverage or whatever it may be. Are there new guidelines for you in sales, or things that they are training you on, or new information you're getting as far as sanitation guidelines, or things that you can provide to clients that are looking to book within the next 12 months at your property based on availability?
I would say in our proposals, we are addressing what Marriott's rolled out as far as sanitation guidelines, and bottom line, we want everyone to feel comfortable, right? And we want to be, we're not reckless. We just want to be safe and have everyone feel comfortable, right? It's simple from that perspective, but as far I really can't speak beyond the six foot distance at this time. I would say it's all as the guidelines change and ebb and flow, we're adapting. So when we start seeing
see what works.
Yeah, I mean, when we see when customers are voicing what they want to see, what will make them feel comfortable, we will adapt to that.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I know you said that you're contacting clients. So your first thing, you get back to the office, you got your job back, walk around the halls of the hotel, it's exciting, things are turning on. Operations people are obviously going through their sanitation guidelines, things like that. Was that kind of your first, piece of your to-do list, basically, was to contact your existing client base once you got back into the office?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been on the sidelines, right, for a few months, and without knowing what's going on, how they're thinking, feeling, what they had for lunch that day. So that's the first thing I certainly I've been doing every day. I just pick up the phone and call different customers, new and existing ones, to see just what's going on in their industry, what they're thinking.
Right. Okay. So how is the end of the year looking? Are you, and I kind of, in my intro, I kind of talked about how third and fourth quarter meetings now are in question, right? There's still a lot of doubt, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. So when you're dealing with your groups, or even talking to your groups, even some that are coming in maybe through the end of the year, first part of next year, what's the perception you're getting from your planners right now for people that are coming in the next 6 to 12 months into your hotel?
Well, I'm seeing two different things. There's, two different sides to, there's this year, right? So 2020, and in the fall, it's either, okay, are you coming? Okay, you're not coming, or do you think you're operating? Do you think you'll be able to operate? Would you be interested in, I mean, are your numbers shrinking? If so, we understand, and we're adapting and working for those customers that are willing to, they feel comfortable still coming.
Right.
Then we're flexible with attrition terms, and they're sticking. But we understand that we just have to see what happens and work through it together.
Yeah.
As far as 2021, I haven't seen, it's holding together really well right now. It's just, I was talking to a planner yesterday, two of them, and each of them came to their own conclusion that they have to plan for the future, even if force majeure kicks in, and if that happens, I mean, you have to plan for the future.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just looking at today. It's
right. So what percentage of planners that you've talked to would you say that are looking to stay compared to willing to cancel or force majeure or rebook? What is that looking like? Are you getting more cancels than that, or are you getting more people that want to stay where they're at, basically?
Well, right before my furlough, I would say it was 50%. I mean, people were walking in the door the following day or the following month, and so that was more of a, okay, let's move you. I maybe had one group that canceled, it wasn't going to work, and we'll revisit rebook terms at a future date.
Right.
But as far as who's staying, I mean, most people want to stay and work out something as opposed to just leaving.
Okay. You say like 80% of the people that you talk to basically just want to stay where they're at right now and are not canceling or moving?
Uh,
Or what would that percentage
it's hard
be?
to put a number on it because I
Okay.
have in my mind, I separate it right from when I was working in March and now when I'm working now.
Right.
So my groups in between, you know, I, I wasn't involved in that aspect of the renegotiation,
Okay.
but a lot of them were able to move into 2021 dates or
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of this year. So when they
Okay.
were going to operate in March, they're now operating this year in the fall.
Right.
Uh, and so it's a mix. I can't really put an exact number on it.
Okay. So do you have a set parameter from leadership regarding force majeure as far as, hey, if this group's coming in through August, we can do it, or does everything need to get approved through corporate or through your leadership when it comes up?
It's been case by case with
Yeah.
our leadership. I mean, I'm working really closely with our director of sales and marketing, and just
Mm-hmm.
we just talk through it. And if
Yeah.
it depends on the organization, what they need to accomplish. If it is impossible for them to operate, if it's just always a case by case basis right now. So we don't have a set month or threshold of when it is force majeure versus when it's not.
Right. Right. Okay. So now that you've got your job back, you're out of
Mm-hmm.
furlough, the hotel's open, you're starting to call people, starting to turn that page and say, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm here to help you again. I'm here to be your friend. Let's start talking about some future business, things like that. Are you seeing new RFPs coming in? Are you seeing planners that are willing to start looking, like you said, start looking in the future or planning for the future? Or a lot of those planners you're talking to still kind of a little skittish right now?
Uh, it's a mix.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the skittish side of planners, but they also are at the point where they just, I mean, really do want to start talking about the future.
Right.
What I'm doing right now, and it really, I mean, I've only been back for a little over a week, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
holiday weekend, so planners were
Right.
out, and
Right.
it was a funky week last week anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This week, what I'm seeing is, we are doing site visits. We are planning for that.
Okay. Good.
I have one, next week that I'm looking forward to. A few of my
Mm-hmm.
colleagues have some as well. So we're
Okay.
seeing the business and the interest and the demand pick back up because, you do have the plan for the future. Some planners are, as working through 2028.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and
Exactly.
why not talk about the future?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, perfect. Um, so I think when you start talking about the future also, are you putting together any special promotions, things that you're doing to try and get people to book right now? Do you have anything going on that your sales team has put together, or things, obviously you've got the sanitation guidelines and things like that
Mhm.
you're putting in your proposals to help people feel safe, but are there any other deals or things that you guys are starting to put together to try and drum up more business to fill some holes?
As of right now, I don't have a piece put together. I think
Okay.
what we're all doing is talking less and listening more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really just keeping my ears low to the ground on
Mm-hmm.
what's important to customers, what they want to see, how, as far as concession pieces and rate wise. I mean, it's a great time to buy. Um,
Right.
and I think that's the next step would be to put something
Yeah.
together, promotional pieces. I think that's
Right.
great.
Okay. So as far as yourself, how are you selling differently compared to when you're on furlough and the world started falling apart? They put you on furlough, you come back. How do you see your sales process or even your attitude or whatever? I know you just talked a little bit about it, but how has that selling process changed for you, or your attitude towards booking business or trying to connect a little bit differently with planners? How has that changed since you went on furlough?
Well, personally, I would say I've always been grateful for the business. I've always,
Mm-hmm.
so I would say that what's changed is my mindset,
Mm-hmm.
but the fundamentals have stayed the same. So the fundamentals of selling being, it's all about connecting,
Mhm.
being there for your customer, listening to their needs, what they want, tailoring uh, something to their needs and the purpose of the meeting. And uh, I would say it really boils down to the basics of just human connection and
Mhm.
uh, being helpful, positive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
making it happen.
Right. Right. That's
So,
perfect. That's great. So, one last question for you before we start doing a little Q&A. So, obviously, there's people that watch this and are still on furlough.
mhm.
They're still sitting on their couch. They're still binging Netflix and doing everything they can to try and stay positive. What's your message to those hotel salespeople that are just hanging on right now?
Well, if they are watching Netflix, I recommend The Greatest British Baking Show. That's very relaxing to
Okay.
watch. But aside from that, I would say, stay positive. I know it's so hard, and
Yeah.
my heart goes out to all of those that are feeling, the anxiety of the uncertainty, but just stay
Hmm.
positive because all of the calls I've had this week alone have been about the future and about,
Right.
the desire to travel is there. It's just like you said, a messy time.
Yeah.
So when it becomes a little bit more clear and people are feeling comfortable, you can do virtual all day long, and I think it's
Hmm.
innovative and creative, and I think
Hmm.
that's a great way to pivot meetings at this time.
Right.
I think what I'm hearing from planners is they miss the face-to-face interactions. They miss the ability to connect in
Right.
person and have an exhibit hall that you can see and touch and feel. And I
Right.
they want to get back to that. So I'd say that there is, a great deal of hope, and it's not too far away.
Right. Hey, one other question I wanted to ask too about your site visits. Are you doing virtual site visits also?
We are absolutely.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, if someone's not feeling comfortable
Hmm.
flying at this time, sure.
Okay.
I'm happy to do a virtual site visit.
Okay. All right. Well,
Mhm.
perfect. Well, Alexa, it's so great to see you. Obviously, as you saw from the comments, if you guys have any questions or comments for Alexa or myself, just type them in the comment section of this Facebook Live event. Be more than happy to get them on and ask Alexa some more honest and open questions and see what comes in. So, Brian, do we have any other questions that are out there right now? I think so. Okay. See if there's anything else that came in. No, nothing right now. So I think we're good. But Alexa, thank you so much. It's so great to see you. Congratulations, first off, on being unfurloughed. Um, you're a fantastic salesperson, and it's great to have you back on board at that property because it's a gorgeous resort, and it's one that I highly recommend to all of my planners. So really appreciate you being on today. Really appreciate your honesty and everything. And as we all get through this, I think it's important that everybody, planners and hoteliers, kind of get both sides of the story and know how this affects everybody. So, but thanks again, Alexa. It was great having you
Thank
on,
you.
and have
Thank you,
a
Mark.
great weekend. All right.
You
Hey,
too.
thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, yeah, Alexa is a fantastic salesperson, and it was great. And I got to tell you, I was sitting around this week to get some work done, and she gave me a call, and she's like, "Hey, I just got unfurloughed and want to check in on you. How are you doing?" And I'm like, this would be a perfect time to have you on my Facebook Live event to kind of talk about getting off the furlough, coming back from furlough. So I'm glad that she was able to come on, talk to us a little bit about how things are changing, what she's doing. I think the other thing you get from her though is that everything is really on a case by case basis. Whether and that's the thing. There's not really corporate standards right now. Now you're seeing corporate standards for sanitation, for training, things like that on the operations side, but you're really not seeing any standards as far as social distancing capacity charts. You're not seeing any standards as far as some of the new social distancing and ballrooms and things like that, it kind of comes on a case-by-case basis with properties. So, what I recommend is just making sure you're talking to your convention service manager, make sure you're talking to the hotel to kind of get some information, have them lay out the space for you, and see what can be done. Obviously, another option that we've talked about on this call before is the allseated.com. We're actually kind of in business with them and do refer their business. So if you have, to set up your ballroom or set up your breakout space and want to do the social distancing guidelines, allseated.com is one that we definitely recommend from our end here with HPN Global. So, but yeah, wanted to see if there's any other questions that came in for me or anything else that that I can answer for anybody while we're here. As you can tell, I've had to wipe my brow about 4 or 5 times because it's about 110 degrees here in Scottsdale. So, but it's all good. So we'll just check see if there's any questions that came in. Anything else out there? Susie, nice to see you too. I appreciate it. Susie's our Omni Hotels rep, so fantastic to see you. Obviously, we do a ton of business with Omni, and they have a lot of fantastic properties. So thank you so much. But I think that is it for the most part. I don't see anything else on there. So as I said, if you have hotel contracts that you want me to take a look at, even if I wasn't involved in them, go ahead and email them over to me at HPN Global or mDALLMAN at hpnglobal.com. And then I'll take a look at them, give you some fast, free, and honest advice on the contracts, whether you're pulling force majeure, whether you just need to straight up cancel, whether you need to rebook it, check availability. That's what I do. That's all I've been doing. So feel free to send that over to me. I'm here to help in any way that I can. And obviously some other things and some other tools that we want to provide to you is obviously the state and city gathering bans. If you need any of that information, let me know. Emergency Concierge, as we've talked about before with John Whitney, has a COVID checklist that they just updated. That is fantastic. If that's something you want to look at before you're planning your next event within the next 6 to 12 months. Also, the Connect space sheet that they put out for their attendees, I thought was really great. And then obviously, I think you're seeing a lot of waivers going out as far as attendees that are coming to events and things like that. So if you need some suggestions or ideas on that, let me know also. So I'm obviously here to help in any way that I can. I appreciate you watching the video today. And you can get more information on me at ameetingplannersbestfriend.com. And we'll see you next Friday. Everybody take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.